What can we expect going forward now? In the first full day of jury deliberations will be tomorrow. They got in a few hours, at least this evening, before concluding. But what do you expect to see develop in the coming days of possible deliberations?
Well, the jurors are going to be very careful to follow the instructions given by Judge Cahill. So they are going to examine all the evidence one by one, videos, papers, anything. They're going to go over all the evidence. And then they're also going to start to discuss the various jury verdict forms that they've received. But they're going to be very careful to go over all the multiple copies of evidence and videos.
Just to give the audience an understanding of the county, Hennepin County voted about 70% for Joe Biden in November. This jury is made up of 4 white women, 2 white men, 3 black men, 1 black woman, 2 multi-race women. So it is a jury with a varied demographics on that jury. Is that representative of the county, would you say?
I think that the jury is very diverse. It's probably more diverse than most juries, but we have a number of people who probably excuse themselves due to COVID and other reasons. So we have jurors who volunteered to do their duty, who passed all the jury questionnaires and courtroom questioning, so they want to do their civic duty.
What was your sense of how the lawyers' arguments varied, if they did, from the judge's instructions today?
Well, I think that the prosecution was very careful to try to give a straightforward prosecution, closing argument, go over the facts that were actually admitted. And then we had the defense, who has an oath to zealously represent their client, but they, in this particular case, kind of hit that fence. So the judge had to give a curative instruction to the jury, to tell the jury to follow the law as the instructions provided and not as the defense attorney had tried to characterize it.
As is common in criminal defense cases, the defense counsel today kept stressing reasonable doubt, saying this is a reasonable doubt case. And that's partially because they didn't put the defendant on the witness stand. Therefore, there wasn't an affirmative defense mounted by the defendant himself with his own words about what he was thinking, why he did what he did. Isn't reasonable doubt one of the areas where there could be a jury question come up as the deliberations go along? What is reasonable doubt? Sometimes juries need clarification on that.
And sometimes the jury will need clarification, but the judge was pretty thorough in telling the jury what reasonable doubt was and what it was not. And then he gave written instructions on reasonable doubt to each juror to take in the jury room. So if they have a question about what reasonable doubt is, they can refer to those instructions.
In your experience, Judge, what is the probability of a hung jury in a trial like this, the jury unable to reach a unanimous verdict?
Well, the operative word is in a trial like this. And we have the voice of Officer Chauvin on the tapes. He's failed to call his supervisor. When his supervisor does call him, he does not disclose the incident. He does not disclose that he failed to notify them of the use of force. And he really doesn't really account for what's happened at any time. And so it's a cavalier attitude with regard to this officer during and after the death of Mr. Floyd. So I think the jury is going to be looking at all the facts and circumstances and see that there is no dispute that aid was not rendered to a man that was totally restrained by the police, that was in medical distress, that an affirmative decision was made not to provide aid, and he died as a result.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.